women here tonight for our infallible, sinful nature. I ask you, Lord, our Father, please tonight give us wisdom, discernment, and love for one another. Please use our skills, talents for the betterment of our community. We ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Roll call is going around. It looks like we have 24 members present. Supervisor Klein, if you could just mark yourself present. Oh, okay. Thank you. Never mind. You're having some malfunction over there. We will start with a proclamation proclaiming June as Whereas, agriculture accounts for approximately 7,000 jobs in Manitowoc County and provides annual cash receipts of over $467 million annually, with over 74% attributed to the sale of milk. And whereas Manitowoc County agriculture accounts for a combined total economic impact of over $2 billion per year. And whereas Manitowoc County ranks within the top 3 counties for milk production in the state and the top 25 nationally. Whereas Manitowoc County's approximately 148 dairy farms and 59,000 dairy cows produce over 1.6 billion pounds of milk in 2024. And whereas Manitowoc County farms pay an average of $48.9 million in sales, property, and income taxes each year. Whereas in celebration of the importance of the dairy industry to Manitowoc County and the dairy farmers that produce food, fuel, and fiber for the population, of which we celebrate Twin Elm Family Farms, LLC, located at 9429 Highway 151, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, that will hold the 2025 Breakfast on the Farm on June 8th from 8 a.m. to noon. Now, therefore, we, Bob Ziegelbauer, County Executive, and Tyler Martell, County Board Chairperson, along with the Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors, hereby proclaim the month of June as Dairy Month in Manitowoc County.
I would like to thank you guys, and I hope to see you out at the farm. We did it 25 years ago, so we're excited to have open back up 25 years later. So thank you.
Okay, that'll take us into public comment. Members of the public are allowed up to 3 minutes to speak on matters pertaining to county board business. Is there anybody from the public wishing to speak? Yes, Mr. Tyrell.
Jim Tyrell, 4123 County Road B, Manitowoc, Wisconsin 54214. I am here tonight to speak about County Trunk B, which I've been complaining about for 3 years already, and nothing's been done yet. I am sick of coming to these meetings, and I imagine you people are sick of me, but we're going to get something done now, or it's going to be repaired by me. I think this is a case of retaliation by Bob Ziegelbauer and Kevin Banke. They're retaliating against me, and I'm bringing those two guys up because I think they're the ones that do it. It's retaliation by these two guys. He tabled that at the highway committee meeting.
Mr. Tyrell, our county board rules do state that personal attacks are not allowed. So if you could explain your issue to us without bringing up supervisors by name, that'd be appreciated.
Okay. Well, anyway, now we got my neighbors both work at the nuclear plant. Jason and Brittany. They work nights. They're trying to sleep days. There's so much banging from those trucks all night that they can't even sleep during the day. So they got to go by relation and sleep by them, which is ridiculous. We don't deserve that in Manitowoc County. I want it taken care of. I said otherwise I'm going to fill it up because it's now we got the traffic from Memorial Drive. You got trucks on there all night with the tailgates on the semis and everything rattling, and you can't put up with it no more. And I brought it up so many times, and now when they tabled it, I told all the neighbors, and all the neighbors said was, what are we paying taxes to Manitowoc County for? Why should we even pay any taxes when they don't even do it? They don't even listen to us. There was letters from 7 people that were passed out to this county board. There was all those people come there to speak one night, which was at the Blue Building. Nothing ever happened. They tabled it. So I am asking, I'm begging, fix the road. That's all I'm asking for. It's got to be fixed. There's somebody going to get hurt that we can't stand the noise there. I'm right next to that bump, and the neighbors' dogs, they're gun shy now. I mean, all you got to do is go there and listen, and you'll hear it. It's just like worse than gunshots. So I'm asking you people to work together and get this county working. They do not know how to fix a highway, but they should be able to patch one up like that. They're the ones that wrecked it. They patched it 3 times, and it's the worst it's ever been. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak tonight? Any other members of the public wishing to speak? For a third and final time, any members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will close public input, and that will take us to the consent agenda. Are there any items that supervisors would like to see removed from the consent agenda? Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have item C, number 4, removed from the consent agenda.
Okay, it is removed and will be discussed under Planning and Park Commission. Supervisor Bry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under Finance Committee, I'd like to remove the resolution awarding the sale of $2,570,000 in general obligation promissory notes. And under Personnel, I'd like to remove letter A, the resolution approving the settlement of the collective bargaining agreement with the Sheriff's Office employees represented by the Wisconsin Professional Police Association.
All right, thank you. Those items will be discussed under their regular committee reports. Are there any other items supervisors would like to see removed from the consent agenda for further discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent with those removed items. Supervisor Hanson, motion, second by Supervisor Marsh, and the clerk will conduct the vote on the consent agenda.
Supervisors will now vote on the consent agenda.
And the consent agenda is approved. That will take us to committee reports. Aging and Disability Board.
I don't have a report for this month. We're meeting at the end of the month on Tuesday. Sorry.
Thank you. Board of Health, Supervisor Metzger.
We met on May 8th, Health Officer Report. We have updated on grants and changes to the operations. Public Health Nursing Report, the respiratory illnesses, they're decreasing. RSV and influenza activity low, COVID-19 activity is minimal. Measles update and staff activities to promote vaccinations and prepare for potential case. They also completed training for TB. Drug take-back day was over 860 pounds were collected. They're planning for a mental health awareness for the month of May. For environmental health, license renewals continue to be issued. The WIC report, the contracted caseload is 1,061, and in April we had 1,169. Our next meeting will be June 12th at 5 p.m. at the Public Health Building. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Supervisor Falkowski.
Thank you, Chairman. The meeting of the Manitowoc County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council was May 7th. Public comment remarks by Ms. Wellner was interested in the openings on the council and how participants could join. Report on drug court. Drug court representative reported 14 participants, 1 termination. There are activities that contribute to success. One is advocating for participants for further education. Currently, a rewrite of the best practices handbook will be adding a peer support section. Access to court committee reported the implementation of multi-language for the court instructions via Zoom for all the branches has been completed. Still working on having it in Hmong. Signs assisting people in the courthouse and a ramp for assistance for being deployed soon. Working on juror questionnaires will be completed by jurors upon completion of their service for their feedback. The Youth Intervention Network reported there was a favorable reduction for youth referrals. The update of juvenile policy is currently under review. They have a project occurring in which they are doing a food drive with Grow It Forward in the United One parking lot. Our next CJC Council meeting is scheduled for September 3rd. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. Executive Committee, we just met for a few minutes earlier this evening to put a resolution on the consent agenda regarding the opioid settlement. So if you have questions about that, you can let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the Expo Ice Center Board. Supervisor Benke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Meeting Finance Committee of the Expo Board met. Our milk pump went out in a milking parlor. It's about an $8,500 expense. So trying to get them to understand, even with the raising of the price of the ticket, we need to do diligence because we're going to have some of these things creep up on us. We're buying 20 crowd barriers. We're taking that out of the ARPA money that we got. We're kind of focusing it, all ARPA money is set towards safety issues. So the crowd barriers will come out of that fund. Community Credit Union is a sponsor for Women's Day. Last week, Janelle and I met with law enforcement of this county, city. We have some issues with the Meyer cul-de-sac, Crawford Boulevard. Maybe we should get Crawford over there. But at night, we have people picking up their kids in the roundabout, and we have buses. The bus transportation cannot make the turn in the cul-de-sac, so we're working with the city as to figuring out what's going to happen there, and I think we're going to probably issue some citations for people that are parking in areas that they're not supposed to be. Again, safety-wise, we got people crossing in front of the buses. It's kind of a no-brainer from that aspect. Also, on the Merchants Gate, we're talking to the city about putting a crosswalk, a temporary crosswalk across the road of Expo Drive, so people kind of funnel down that, trying to get pedestrian traffic to stay in that linear motion rather than basically all over the place. So working on some of those things with the city and the county, good relationship, that's been going real well. Tanya Dvorak and Rob Voss will be my guest on May 30th. And sign up for Breakfast on the Farm. We do have a booth at the Breakfast on the Farm, and we're giving away some tickets and kids pick a duck type of things. So look forward to seeing you all at the Breakfast on the Farm. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor Benke. Next, we have the Finance Committee, Supervisor Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple things before we get to the resolution. We sold a property in Two Rivers. One thing to keep in mind is we look at the bids differently than we used to look at them under that new state law. We, as a county, when we sell a piece of property, get to keep our cost, and the rest of the money goes back to whoever owned it at the time when they had to give it up for taxes. So sometimes the bids don't come in as high as they used to, but we have to look at each individual property and go, is it close enough to a fair price that we can get our money out, the previous owner can get something, and we can get the property back on the tax rolls rather than the county owning it and taking care of it and getting nothing for it. So we did that with a piece of property, got it back on the taxes. Supervisor Falkowski and I have been at some meetings with the Sheriff's Department on the camera. situation, body cams, and that's going to cost a good piece of change, but we're still in discussions on the cost of that. We have a meeting coming up June 5th, I believe, where they're doing some demonstrations. And, we're still making decisions there, but it's going to be costly, but in the long run, it helps our officers. It's going to help them not just doing some of the paperwork, because AI is going to help them, but it's also going to help them in the field, and it'll cut down on some situations that's a he said, she said kind of thing, because it'll be on film. So it'll be good, and we'll be joining many of the counties around us that already have this. So on to the resolution. There's good news and bad news. Bad news is we're borrowing money. The good news is the rate of interest that we will pay is much less than we thought it was going to be. So originally when JJ gave this to us, we thought we'd be getting this bonding at about a 4.6% interest rate. And the bids came in today. Robert Baird came in, and it's 3.755. So it's a little bit, well, in terms of 2.57 million, it's quite a bit money that we're saving on the interest, saving so much that JJ is going to be able to move some money around and use it in different places that we didn't think we had for next year's budget. So that being said, I will move this to accept the bid and put it with the resolution awarding the sale of the $2.57 million general obligation permission note series, and that goes to Baird with the lowest bid.
There's a motion and a second by Supervisor Bry. Any other discussion on the resolution? All right, seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution awarding the sale of $2,570,000 general obligation promissory notes series 2025.
And the resolution is approved. Is there anything else, Supervisor Hanson?
June 9th is our next meeting. You're always welcome to join us at the administration office. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Highway Committee, Supervisor Benke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met on May 13th. We had another driveway access that we pretty much have one just about every month. We had the Broadwind sublease approval. They store windmill parts and different things on our property. It's very lucrative to us at $1,500 a month. The brine bids came in for the brine building and it was awarded to Bayland Buildings for $29,539 for Bayland Buildings was the lowest bid. We looked at down by Lewis Corners. In that intersection, there are some issues with curbing, guttering, sewer that we're not quite sure where it goes. So there's going to be a lot of engineering in that particular intersection right now this year, looking at a repair into our project, into our 2026 budget. But based on the pictures, it's going to be interesting. Engineering, not nightmare, but it's going to be a challenge to fix the things we need to fix in that intersection. I did leave on your desk the salt prices update for the year. Found it interesting just to let you know what our price of salt is compared to other counties throughout the state. I think a lot of that has to do with where the salt is being barged in. So for your curiosity, hopefully it's as good as mine, that it's interesting just to see what the price per ton of salt is compared to other counties throughout. We will meet, next meeting will be June 10th. That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Bry, Human Services Board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Human Services Board met April 24th for its regular monthly meeting. We had a presentation on our supported apartment program for adults with chronic mental illness that saves $779,000 a year in group home costs. Adult protective services referrals have been steadily increasing in recent years, but have shot up significantly so far in 2025. The 2025 finances are looking promising, but we have had 8 youth justice referrals that are likely to result in very costly placements as of right now. The Narcan vending machine was placed outside the northeastern Wisconsin Area Health Education Center. Public Health supplied the initial Narcan and fentanyl test strips. Human Services Department will provide ongoing supply of Narcan and test strips through our Narcan Direct grant. With that, our next meeting will be this coming Thursday, May 22nd, 4:15 p.m. in the Human Services Department boardroom off of J Street in downtown Manitowoc. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Land Conservation and UW Extension Education and Agriculture Committee, Supervisor Ryan Phipps.
Thank you, Chairman Martell. We had a meeting scheduled for May 15th. We weren't able to get a quorum, so we rescheduled our meeting for tomorrow at 5 p.m. That will be the end of my report.
Thank you. Personnel Committee, Supervisor Marsh.
Thank you. We had the 3 resolutions that were updating the Manitowoc County Employee Manual. Also, we discussed, we have been talking about in the Personnel Committee about the possible change from coroner to medical examiner. The committee has directed Corporation Counsel to prepare such a resolution for consideration at our next personnel meeting. And our next personnel meeting will be June 3rd at 4:30 at the administration office. Also at this time, I would like to bring forth Resolution 2025-87, approving settlement of 2024-2026 collective bargaining agreement with Sheriff's Office employees represented by WPPA. I so move.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second? Supervisor Benke. Any discussion on the resolution? Supervisor Shimalunas.
I have a question. Is this including back pay? I don't know too much about this situation. I don't remember it. But is that what this 4% is? I mean, according to what I read, January 1st, 2024 is part of, it's at 4% from then. So what does that mean? Does it mean the difference from what they were paying? Like, for example, if they got $10 an hour, is it now times 4%?
It does include back pay.
I guess I was curious about all the rest too. January 1st, 2025. Is that a back pay thing too? And then, I don't understand why July 1st, does that just mean they're getting an increase of 2%?
In 2025, there's a 2% increase, and that would be effective as of January 1st, 2025, and then another increase that's effective July 1st of 2025.
So if in January 1st, if they're getting an increase of 4%, so there's no need for them to complain, right?
I don't want to comment on whether they complain, complain or not, okay. But it does net out to 4% for each year for 3 years.
Are there any further questions on the resolution? Comments? All right, seeing none, the clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution approving settlement of 2024-2026 collective bargaining agreement with Sheriff's Office employees represented by Wisconsin Professional Police Association.
All right, and the resolution's approved. Anything else, Supervisor Marsh?
No, that ends my report.
Thank you. Next, we have Supervisor Falkowski, Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Park and Planning Commission met on April 28th. On our docket, it included 1 rezone hearing, 5 variance requests, and an ordinance violation for adjudication. After open meeting law compliance, we opened the floor for public comment. The Commission's hearing on the rezone request for Lyerman proceeded to examine the rezone criteria plus testimony and queries from the Commissioners. The Commission declined the rezone primarily not meeting the criteria to make the change from parcel from exclusive ag. Mr. Chairman, on behalf of the Commission, I move to consider Resolution 2025-2026-31 rezone petition.
All right, there's a motion for the resolution. Is there a second?
Zimmer.
Is there a second? Supervisor Niles? Any discussion? Supervisor Falkowski?
This item was taken out of the consent agenda for the opportunity for the whole board to weigh in on the responsibility of implementing county zoning. The uniqueness of the situation in this parcel is because it was declined by the commission. As the commission chair, I have to be monogamous to the commission. And for that reason, I don't put my thumb on the scale. Here's a fact tapestry that you can maybe adjust. And you also had a report basically regarding this parcel. So you should have a lot of facts in front of you. The town of Manitowoc Rapids communicated its support for the rezone request. However, the land use designation is ag and woodland for this parcel. Manitowoc County land use designation is for agricultural. Yet the 5-acre parcel for rezone was to be sold for a home building separated from the 40 acres still in agricultural production. You were all sent the final report and the findings. The soil has no reportable limitations, no terrain challenges. Non-agricultural low development growth would not significantly impact that land or the agricultural land. It is also in farmland preservation. So we can affirm the resolution to deny or have a motion for another action that you may deem appropriately. And at this point, that is the end of my discussion for this parcel.
Okay, is there any other further discussion? I just want to clarify for everybody that the motion is to deny the zoning change. Okay. All right. Accept the report to deny. Okay, Supervisor Matthew Phipps.
Yeah, Mr. Fikowski, I would ask, could you please articulate, because I read through all the reports in detail, besides the soil conditions being great for agriculture, I do not see where and why we are denying that. And after your report, I still am confused with the reasoning of why you would make the report to deny the zoning change. So if you could articulate that to me right at this moment, that would be helpful to me.
Supervisor Falkowski?
Articulation is going to be dependent on some memory and also trying to look it up fast, rapidly. I remember that the discussion about the grade of slope on the soil was like under 5%, which is really nominal in terms of agricultural for production. The soil composition was sandy loam combination, which is adequate. And in fact, if you did a look at the maps and stuff, you could see that production for agriculture is very active in that area. So it's not hampered by any soil conditions. So all the details as far as the soil composition and stuff, you'd have to give me a little bit more moments to actually retain that or recover that, because you saw the volume of information that we go through for every one of those rezone petitions. And at this point, I'm trying to do it on the fly, and I'm challenged anyway. It could be difficult. So if you can give me a few moments, I'll see if I can rifle through my papers.
Are you ready? Are you all right, Supervisor Falkowski, if we come back to you? Do you have anything else, Supervisor Phipps?
I'd like to speak to, I called the town supervisors and inquired about this exact motion and denial for the transfer. And they had no reasoning why we should deny this for the use of breaking up this 80 acres So I asked if there was anything else that would be pertinent to the conversation. They had said that it met their 5-acre requirement, and it would be good for the community having that reparceled for a large estate, and they had no objections whatsoever. So with that information given to me, I would be not in favor of this denial.
Thank you. Supervisor Falkowski, did you find that information?
The map information says soil type is KNBC2, which is probably the composition of the soil type, which was not necessarily a hindrance of conditions for agriculture there. The designation was definitely for farmland preservation, which also lends itself that once you're in farmland preservation, you actually have a monetary enrichment for that. There's a benefit for doing that. Because it's in farmland preservation, you try to carve out a small chunk to say that it's not for home building, lends itself for a lot of dynamics that the commission was properly assessing the situation and saying, no, we need to deny this rezone. For your information and topically, the surveyor has been in discussion looking at a way of reconfiguring this, so it's not necessarily to harm the individual wanting to purchase. We are actually actively looking and participating, trying to find a better solution for this parcel, for this individual. So we're not punitive in this, on our commission. We really work towards having success at this. At this particular request, it was a bad choice, and unfortunately, they might have not had that conversation prior to offering it and going through the hearing. So I still would, well, I can't put my thumb on the scale, but that's my discussion.
Thank you, Supervisor Falkowski. Supervisor Bry, thank you for being patient. You are up next.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually would like to ask our Corporation Counsel a question. Peter, your predecessor before you became Corp Counsel, and maybe some of us older folks can remember, and it's been a while since, if I can recall, that a recommendation from the Planning and Park Commission has come for a recommendation for denial. But if I recall in the past when we had recommendations for denial, our Corp Counsel always said that the resolution essentially had to go back to Planning and Park for reconsideration. I never fully understand it, and maybe you got a different interpretation. To me, it was always that denial means denial, it's done with, but there was always an interpretation then that the resolution needed to go back for reconsideration. Your thoughts?
I'm not sure exactly if I understand what you're asking. What I would say is the Planning and Park Commission put forth its recommendation to deny the petition from, in this particular case, from the landowner. The county board essentially has two options. It can either accept that recommendation or it can reject the recommendation and refer it back to the Planning and Park Commission. That doesn't mean that the county board, quote unquote, overrides the Planning and Park Commission and approves the rezone. It would simply be a referral back to the Planning and Park Commission. I hope that that's answering your question.
I think we're going in the same direction, but I guess I'm looking for. But so if this resolution fails tonight, it would go back to Planning and Park automatically? See, that was the interpretation of your predecessor.
Fair interpretation. Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it.
Thank you.
Right, so I just want to follow up on that. So we could, right now the motion is to reject or deny the resolution. So we could approve the motion on the table, which would be to deny, and then it could go back to the Park and Planning Commission. If that motion is defeated, we could just make a motion to refer it back to the Planning and Park Commission, or there could be a motion made to approve it if there was. So I guess.
Well, I think there's a motion to approve it on the floor right now.
To deny.
Or
to approve the resolution to deny.
Yes. Resolution. That is correct. So really procedurally, what you should be doing is voting on that resolution. Correct. Either it succeeds or it fails.
All right. Thank you. Just when we work in double negatives, I think everybody just wants to make sure they're following. Supervisor, you were done, Supervisor Bry? Supervisor Banky.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually on Tuesday called Tim Ryan at Planning and Zoning to congratulate them on we've seen a lot of farmland preservation land taken out of farmland and put into residential through the years that I thought probably didn't give a real good reason why. The farmer, all this while, I'm sure has claimed farmland tax credits on the farmland preservation land. And if we don't follow the criteria, and I didn't see the town of Manitowoc Rapids comprehensive land use plan, but I have a hard time believing that the criteria which is in their comprehensive land use plan follows this the way they have put it in their notes to approve this. I just don't see that being the case. It's a 5-acre parcel out of the prime portion of that parcel. And we need to start taking stances, and I applaud the Planning and Zoning Committee for doing the right thing to deny the request. It's a 5-acre parcel right in it. It's good farmland, being farmland today. I'm sure that farmland tax credits were being taken. That's the purpose. The farmland tax credits is the purpose that we leave it in farmland. Now you're going to get rid of it, make a crappy look what's left of that parcel. Take a look at what that parcel looks like after you carve out that 5 acres. It's a piece of garbage. Thing is squabbly all over the place. It's not the right way to do zoning. The right way, Planning Commission made the right recommendation, and I applaud them for doing that. And it's a good thing that some of these are coming under the land use planning and in farmland preservation criteria, and taking farmland preservation land out of farmland preservation and allowing residential development. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Hampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Being a city guy, I'm kind of lost on this. I have to honor what the committee is telling me because they know better than I do. I appreciate the fact that by a denial, if we vote to deny, they still have the opportunity to bring back something else, correct? So it's still there. So again, because my knowledge is very limited in this type of action, I'm going to honor the committee's request. I thank Supervisor Falkowski for bringing this forward. And that still leaves the owner with an opportunity to come up with a different plan that hopefully then the committee and he can work out what to do with this. But I truly believe, gentlemen and ladies, we need to honor the people that did the work, that understand this issue probably much better than we do because they've studied it. So I'll be voting in favor of the denial, which sounds a little crazy to vote in favor of a no. But thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Ryan Phipps.
Thank you, Chairman Martell. The way that I kind of look at this is I would like to see it go back to the committee to see if they could work with the landowner to make some adjustments or to work on the plan. That's kind of my 2 cents, especially because the town approved it. And I don't know all the inner workings of the town and what they did or didn't do. But I just would like to see it to go back to the committee to come up with a better plan. Kind of like Supervisor said, I don't really want to put our thumb one way or the other and just see if there can be a resolution between all 3 parties. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Bry.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Very interesting discussion, and I applaud all because there's definitely some great points being made here. having served at one time several terms on Planning and Park Commission, I'm also a member of the City Plan Commission for the last 15 plus years. I know zone changes can be very difficult in looking at things, but Supervisor Benke, I guess, I was on the fence on this one, but you kind of pushed me over to the side of denial, and I do hope that we can work something out, but farmland preservation was created to do exactly what it's doing in this case, preserving farmland. I know when a person owns personal property, you want to do what you want with that property, but when this person went into the program, they knew what was going on with farmland preservation. That's why they went into it. They got the tax credits. They got the rebates. So I will support the resolution to reject this zone change. But as Supervisor Ryan Phipps said, I hope with Planning and Park you can work something out. Maybe it can be reduced a little bit. It can be changed. There's opportunity here, but Supervisor Benke, I applaud you. For me, you made the argument. Farmland preservation, it's not absolute, but in this case, it's what it's there for. So, thank you.
I'm glad your microphones were on for that one. Supervisor Zimmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I respect Supervisor Benke's opinion, so I'd like to know if he is going to support the resolution or vote no to the resolution.
Supervisor Benke.
I'm going to vote in support of denial. Yes.
Thank you, Supervisor Benke. Does that answer your question, Supervisor?
Pardon me, sir? Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Matthew Phipps.
Thank you for the time to speak one last time. I just want to applaud everybody with your comments and your insight. I do want to refer to some of the comments that were made in the past. I did review the Town of Manitowoc Rapids 20-year plan, and it does lock in step with the requirements as well with the planning and parks. So I just want to kind of defend them a little bit with what they did in their process and why they came up with the conclusion they did. I do believe that they made the right choice to give the landowners the ability to change the zoning. I actually have seen the land myself. It's actually in my district, and I believe we're on a slippery slope of putting our thumbs on trying to control people's personal property by saying it's not available to change zoning. I understand the tax credits very well, and obviously if any of us have been farmers in our lives, we understand that we need those tax credits to exist on lean years. So I do completely understand that. However, we do all have hard times once in a while in our lives, and maybe they need to sell that property or reparcel it to get through these fiscal times that we are in. So I am still going to stand with the town of Manitowoc Rapids to make their judgment calls about their town, and I believe this is an example of us, government, trying to get our hands into people's personal property on the idea that we are protecting agricultural land when the town has already made a judgment call and following their 20-year agricultural plan that we are trying to support good farming. However, it is road frontage on Middle Road, and there is not many other places to potentially build. So that's my opinion, and thank you for the time.
Thank you. Supervisor Lillibridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like some clarity here. Yes means no, no means no, yes means yes. Okay, so, and the other question is, if we say we support the denial as put forth, is it they may get another chance to modify, or they do get another chance to modify?
Mr. Falkowski?
To clarify, this is a snapshot in time. What they presented as an offer to what they wanted to rezone was that snapshot. They can come back with a different version, and present that to the commission. But this particular snapshot is what you're going to vote on, that we're declining this parcel for their as they recommended for this parcel to be rezoned. this snapshot. They can come back with a different plan, which I've seen, and that will be approached differently. So it's a different issue or a different topic. Did I confuse you?
Supervisor Lillibridge.
So can they come back with the same parcel reconfigured?
Hang on one second, Supervisor Falkowski.
Pardon? If they came back with the same parcel identically, they would probably get the same results. So the ideal is to talk to your surveyor and look at a different configuration that could best suit that criteria to remove it from exclusive ag. And that's the process.
Anything else, Supervisor Lillibridge? All right, anybody else, comments or questions on the resolution? Okay, so just to make things clear, the motion is to deny the zoning change. So if you vote yes, that means we are going to deny the change. If you vote no, that would mean that you are against the denial. So everybody understand what we are voting on? Okay. The clerk will conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution adopting report and denying zoning amendment petition for Paul Learman.
The resolution to deny is approved 15-9. All right, Supervisor Falkowski, public safety.
Still not done. Yeah, I know. Lori's just waiting to come up here. Next, we discuss variance requests for the Baldwin, Lyerman, and Ramlo and Satori family revocable trust, which was approved. And lastly, we discuss a persistent ordinance violation and her testimony to determine our findings as a commission to recommend this ordinance violation onto corporate counsel for adjudication. Our next commission meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, June 2nd. Our advisory committee starts at 3:30 and the hearing starts at 4. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is the end of my report and moving right on to public safety. Our committee meeting was changed in lieu of the Peace Officers Memorial for respect to the fallen officers and their surviving loved ones. Gratitude is extended to all supervisors who attended the Peace Officers Memorial on the courthouse grounds May 15, or any other ceremonies throughout our area. Thank you. Our next Public Safety Committee meeting is June 11th, and it will be the annual Corrections Facility inspection per Wisconsin statutes. Supervisors are invited to join the committee and understand the structure and the personnel involved with housing individuals at our corrections operation. We will meet normally at the C&T building in room 111 at 5 p.m., then shift our location for the inspection with the corrections administrator and the sheriff. Contact me with any questions if you intend to participate. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is the end of that report.
Thank you. Public Works Committee Supervisor Sikowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Works Committee met on Wednesday, May 14th. In the Solid Waste and Recycling Division, Director Noiser reported on the state of the current markets for recyclables and the revenues received to date for them, noting that the markets are fluctuating due to the uncertain economy and tariff threats, with both plastic prices and fiber prices declining in the last month. We also received a report on the rescheduling of the annual hazardous waste cleanup sweep program from May 16th and 17th, moved it to October 10th and 11th, due to the high volume of traffic Highway 310, as it's currently the detour route during the reconstruction of Memorial Drive between Manitowoc and Two Rivers. Holding this large-scale event now would put both the clean sweep participants and the general traveling public at risk, so out of an abundance of caution, it's been rescheduled for October. In the Buildings and Grounds Division, Assistant Director Bright updated the committee on the status of the 2025 capital projects that have started and are underway. We received a report on the courthouse windows replacement and HVAC system upgrade project. Construction in the branch 2 and 3 courtrooms has been completed, and the window replacements are now about 50% completed.
We approved a change order for some added HVAC work that was necessary, and the HVAC portion of the project is now about 75% completed. The project is on schedule and on budget, with final completion still projected to be on or about September 1st. We approved several pay requests, one from Hammond Construction for the courthouse project and one from Eland Electric for the Law Enforcement Center's fire alarm system replacement project. Lastly, Hubbard Electric is a neighboring property of the county office complex on Expo Drive. They are proposing to build a storage building at the back of their property that shares the lot line with the county's property and ask for permission to put up a building with a 19-foot setback from the lot line. We reviewed their site plan and approved their request. In the Communications Division, we were updated on the status of the 2025 capital project for public safety radio systems, noting that staff has been working with the Village of Cleveland's staff on radio coverage issues in that area of the county, and we will be replacing some equipment at the Cleveland Tower site to improve coverage and transmission clarity. We are also updated on activities that the communications team is working on, upgrading the AV and data systems in the courthouse as part of the current construction project, and replacing the security cameras in the downtown Human Services building. In the IT Division Director Callista updated the committee on the status of active projects and the latest cybersecurity reports, as well as the monthly tickets for the IT service, noting that the county's law enforcement software platform was recently upgraded successfully. In the Expo Division, we reviewed the May calendar of events, the planned capital project for 2025, and the monthly financial reports. The next meeting of the Public Works Committee will be held on Wednesday, June 11th, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Transportation Coordinating Committee, Supervisor Hacker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Coordinating Committee met April 23rd to review first quarter 2025 progress and results. I am pleased and somewhat amazed to announce that the replacement bus awarded in 2024 has been delivered and is in service. So this is the second new bus received this year. We have one more to replace, and our fleet will be completely rejuvenated. Ridership continues to rise, with one-way rides in the first quarter of 2025 increasing by 5% over fourth quarter 2024 and by 20% over first quarter 2024. We also added 2 new volunteer drivers in the first quarter, and we're awfully happy about that. I'm also pleased to announce we have again filled the position of ADRC Business Services Manager. This time we believe we have the right candidate, Mr. Adam Miller. Adam hit the road running and is doing a fine job. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right, so that concludes our business. I do have a couple of announcements. I did send out an email letting you know about the Memorial Day Parade. I believe they sent out some information, so I will forward that to everybody if you're interested in participating in the Memorial Day Parade. The WCA conference, I sent out an email too asking if anybody is interested. I've received a few replies, but if you are interested in attending that conference I'm escaping the dates, but in September, please let me know. And I think I said by this Friday, so that way we can make sure everything is booked and registration is complete. And then I believe at our June meeting, we'll be meeting a little bit early for our annual ice cream social. So we have that to look forward to in June Dairy Month. If there's no other announcements, we do have our committee of the whole meeting after. We're just going to take a 5-minute break in between meetings just to get everything set up, and we should be able to hit the ground running at about 7 o'clock. Motion to adjourn, second by Supervisor Mink. We're adjourned.